You're listening to For Better and Worse with Jess and Rach.
Okay, let's go.
That enthusiasm, we love to see it.
We're coming at it strong today. Coming at you live from Rach's childhood bedroom. This is Jess.
And I'm Rach.
And this is For Better and Worse podcast.
I've been waiting approximately 20 minutes to drink this drink because I wanted the world to see.
Well, it is very beautiful for the people who can't see, who are listening.
Oh, yeah. Forgot.
To the podcast.
We can post a pic on our
It's
stuff.
beautiful. It's a tequila sunrise.
Which
very well made, I might add.
Now that I'm thinking about it, might gag drinking this. Tequila's done me dirty. Not as dirty as whiskey at Jess's wedding.
Ooh.
The worst. The worst pain.
You drink whiskey once, like overdo it, and you'll never go back. That's how I feel. Because tequila is my drink of choice.
Okay.
I love it. Clean drunk, no hangover. And it's really personal. You just got to find that one liquor that does you well.
Yeah.
And tequila has done that for me.
When it comes to shots, that's what, like at your wedding, I was like, never really done shots of whiskey on the reg.
Funny story about that.
Oh.
We were like, hey, no shots. To the bartender, we're like, let's just keep it classy, right? No shots. And we said, except for the bridal party, which you were.
I was.
Yeah. But literally at one point, the Jack Daniels bottle was being poured into people's mouths on the dance floor. And I said, oh, turn up. We out here. I took a look at that. I was like, wow, this doesn't surprise me.
Oh, I fucked myself at your wedding so bad because I was photographing it. For those that didn't know, I was bridesmaid. I was photographing it. Shout out Kaylee for doing the shit I could not do that day.
Crushed it.
But oh my God, it was like by the time I got to the reception where I was like done doing my job, everyone was wasted. And I was like, I got to catch up. I got to break loose.
Classic game of catch-up. The kiss of death.
I just knew that I couldn't ingest enough liquid. Like there was no amount of me that was gonna like chug truly.
Yeah.
So I was like,
you were thinking efficiency. The quicker, the better.
But I'm also dehydrated. I might have had a bottle of water that entire day.
Yeah.
It was warm. You know, I was working, and I want to formally apologize to the good people of
Rockets Run
for ruining one of the bedspreads when I puked all over it.
The amount of puke we found in the morning during cleanup was absurd.
It was
literally no one said anything though. I mean, the venue was awesome. Everyone was so great, but no, it was like there was we called it puke row. Joe's uncle called it puke row because at one point they all took shots and all the guys were like gave that look.
Ooh,
went out to the side and it was puke row. It was like three, like Joe's brothers and his cousin, I guess, were just like puking.
It is one of the only times I've ever blacked out in my life, and I found my way.
I feel honored that it was my wedding.
First and last time I will do that. Found my way back to our room, and I fell on something, got a very deep bruise in my butt. I fell on like my tripod, I think. And
how fitting.
because I woke up, I was like it was like a very pointed bruise that went deep through the tissue to the bone. And then that was just my sleuth skills next day. Deductive reasoning. And then pictures, because my best friend Madison was videoing it with me, and Josh comes into the bedroom where I'm like sweat sleeping, and there's just puke in where he's supposed to sleep, and he kind of panics because he's like, is she dead? Is she dead? Is she gonna die? Is she gonna
yeah, that's a scary thing.
And Madison just is like, she's fine, undresses me. I'm topless, completely tits out for everyone. And she has to like roll me to strip the bed because shout out Madison, no one gets me like you. And no one, like, I do see the merit in blacking out now, like looking back on it, because I'd never done it before. It's like I can't feel embarrassed telling this story because I don't remember it.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing when you like remember that you like were cry yelling at your best friend about a boy. Like that's embarrassing.
That is scaries worth. You know what I mean? Like Sunday scaries. That's something you have the scaries over. But this was just pure fun. And also I read something like no one is more resilient and strong than white girls who are drunk. Like so you falling over, you didn't feel shit.
No.
And no one feels anything. Like, it's just like, all I see is like a montage of like girls in heels, like, whoop, like falling over and tumbling down hills. And like, they'll get up and like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep
on keeping on. White drunk girls.
Also, this straw that I'm using, maybe this will be some ASMR, but this is like Polly Pocket shoes.
Oh my God. Dude, always. Ooh, yeah, good ASMR. That's how I feel like Polly Pocket would be. And I know that from experience because I chewed on plenty of Polly Pocket shoes. And dresses. The dresses that it like cups your tongue.
Ooh.
Satisfactory.
I've been feeling really nostalgic about Polly Pockets lately. I don't know what it is.
What
I
are
think
you,
it's just
millennial?
like an uncovered memory that I had. Like, I loved Polly Pockets. You know, they were the start of a sexual awakening for me at a young age.
Huh.
You know? Just like the whole like playhouse. You know, it was pre-Sims. Like Polly Pocket Sims.
Well, yeah, well, it was like dolls. Then computer games. Yeah. Right? This is like, then computer games is when your imagination gets cut off. Yeah. Joe and I talked about that. We're like, you know, we just don't have that imagination anymore that kids do. You ever try to play with kids recently as an adult? You're like, man, I just don't see what you see.
I know.
And it's sad because you miss that. You're like, wow, I used to be able to like play pretend and believe it. And you try to do it as an adult because you're feeling nostalgic and you want to play with this kid. And you're like, damn it. I'd rather just grab a beer.
I know.
Playing with kids is hard.
Laura and I were talking today about like, you know, our neighborhood crew, like our parents, because like we lived in like such a good neighborhood and we're friends with all of our neighbors and parents. And we were talking about like the dads that like used to come to the birthday parties.
Yeah.
And I was like our dad never did that. Like he was always like, peace, I'm going downstairs. And Laura was like, they were definitely drunk. There's no chance that those guys weren't drunk. 100%. Like looking back on life is so funny because it's like all of those parents were like drinking out of their tumblers trick-or-treating. There's no chance.
And that's the best. I feel like that is what makes me look forward to parenthood. Like I look forward to doing that with Joe. Yeah. Having a nice little tumbler of beer and just be like roaming around.
I know, but classic, like my mom was like, I just wanted to be present for every moment.
Oh, no one's like Sherry.
All right, Cher. You do you, but
But also let loose.
Let loose, girl.
Love that for her.
I know.
Okay. This week.
How was your week?
It was good. I've been really into, I don't know if many of you guys know, but Olive is in dog training.
Ooh.
We talked about this School of Hard Knocks for Olive. So I've been really into that, loving the whole behavior aspect of it from my behavior background.
With humans.
Working with humans, with kids with autism. So I really enjoy it with Olive. But anyway, one morning we let him outside. We have a fenced-in backyard. And the luxuries of having a fenced-in backyard is kind of letting them out, go do the dishes, come back, let them back in. You know, They can do whatever they want out there, which is kind of nice not having to keep an eye on him anymore now that Pickle is almost 8 months. Oof. So in the morning, I went outside to like ring the bells, come back in, dogs. And I see Pickle on the other side of the fence in the neighbor's yard. And I don't know if you know this about me, but one of my biggest anxieties and fears is losing my dogs.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's happened because it's happened like in my childhood, like I've lost dogs and they've come back, but it's also like huskies, they will run and they won't come back. And I've lost Olive on a handful of times and it's like one of the scariest moments of my life. So I'm like seeing Pickle on the other side of the fence outside of my yard.
Looking into your
She
yard.
is looking at Olive. Olive's looking at me because I like ring the bells and like we ring bells for them to come back in.
Ring the bells.
Come back in, doggies.
Is it like a cowbell? Ding dong dong.
It's like the bells that you teach for potty training. So then they ring the bells. That go so I don't know. They associated the sound with coming back in, so we keep it.
Okay.
So all of a sudden my heart just sinks to my ass and I'm like, like I panic and I think I yelled Joe's name, who was upstairs at the time, didn't hear me at all. And I literally am in shorts and like a nightie.
You've had some sketchy situations with dogs in your neighborhood though.
And so
like there's lightweight fight club illegal breeding going on.
Scary fact, my neighbors have pit bulls who I've watched fight. So I've witnessed a dog fight with them. And that's the yard that Pickle's in. So if they let them out and he lets them off leash and their yard isn't fenced in. So I'm like, holy shit, Pickle's going to run. But she's looking at Olive. All of a sudden, like she sees me, she gets jacked up, right? Olive takes off and like goes toward the end of the fence. And like Pickle's running up and down the fence. She's like going crazy and looks like she wants to get back in. So I like grab all this food in my hand. So, desperate times. So I run curse splat, step in a pile of dog shit. I'm like, no time for this. Can't worry about that. Hop the fence. I put my hand out. I'm like, come here, because I don't know how she's gonna react. She's never like gotten out. So I'm like,
how did she get out?
Bitch, hop the fence. She.
What?
Yeah, crazy.
Mountain climbing dog.
Yeah, she's jumpy. She's a jumper. And she can jump very high.
She's a leaper.
She's a leaper. Yeah, so I put my hand out. I'm like, come here. I don't know how she's gonna react. She comes towards me. Throw her over the fence. Literally throw her. I was like, toss that bitch over the fence. I'm like, you stay in here, bitch.
Oh,
I was so scared, and so I'm like breathing really heavily. I'm like, Joe, and I have like poop on my foot, and I have to go all the way upstairs to like wash it off. So I crawl up the stairs. I'm like, Joe, literally like with a shit on my foot, and I'm like trying to crawl up so I don't like get it on the carpet. It was a mess.
Oh, yeah. My anxiety about losing Barley goes way up at night.
Okay.
Like, we use like a harness to walk her. She just like walks better with her. I went to training. I'm alternate. I just have like an easy breezy dog. Went to training once, and I was like, oh, this is how you do treats, and she did good.
Yeah, like
reinforcement. And then did a front hook harness, and she's great. But sometimes Josh doesn't like to put the harness on her at night when just like do a quick walk around. But I'm always like hyper anxious because I'm like, that girl is dark as night. If she gets lost at night, she's gone.
Yeah.
She's goofy. She'll go. That dog wants to, like...
Yeah, I know that. I've, like, tried. I played that game with Olive, and she's like, you think this is a game?
Ugh.
I said, you think this is a game? I think this is my life or death.
I know. Luckily, Barley will come for food.
Yeah.
Like, I've caught her in the woods, fucking around, and I just shake her whole thing of food.
Yeah.
And
Olive's too smart. She's been tricked too many times.
I give her the food.
You do?
Yeah. It's not going to work if she doesn't know she's going to get it. That's the thing. It's like, I don't teach her with a punishment because she works with treats. So it's like, yeah, she shouldn't have run away. But if I stop giving her the treats when she comes, she'll know.
Right.
So she's spoiled.
Fair.
I don't know. She's nice to other people and to other dogs and to babies. So
I'll keep her around.
It's not that serious. I like my dog, you know?
Yeah. Feel that.
She does well. She does well.
Good. All right, Rach, how has your week been?
It's been good. It's been a little bit stressful. Like, for those of you that don't know, you know, I've had my business for 5.5 years, and then I decided to start a podcast, and then I decided to start another business, which in theory will go hand in hand with my photography, but right now it takes like so much of my energy. I've really been letting the ball drop. Shout out to any of my clients that still like me. Thank you.
Thanks for sticking with me.
Thanks for sticking with me, because I've been garbage. I have been a bunch of garbanzo beans, but we're out here. And on top of everything, my grandma has just had like such a shitty year. She's been falling. She's 87. You know, she's just done. She's done with the world. And my mom was staying, because we need to stay overnight, and my mom stayed there for 2 weeks. And my sister's here, but on Sunday night I stayed, like, to give my sister like a transition period to like staying at our house and having some time with mom, and like letting my mom come home. And I'm just like, my grandma has said many times, like, one time Josh and I were downstairs in her basement. This was before her fall, but we were looking at pictures, and she still has like my parents' wedding photos up. They've been divorced for 50, like, it's not an awe. It's just like they're the pictures that are in the frame that are on the wall.
What if she's like, oh, my family?
Nah.
Is this out of like
it's just like what's she gonna replace those photos with? You know, they're the black and white wedding pics. But one time we were down there, and she was like, just saying something. She goes, "You are just like your father."
Oh my!
And I was like,
"What do you mean by that?"
Thanks, Graham. She didn't mean anything great, but you know, whatever. It's true. I just have such like a morbid and at times dry sense of humor. So, she didn't have her. This is Monday morning. She hadn't put in earrings for a while, and my mom had tried to put them in, but they weren't going through. So like, she wanted them in. So I was like, okay, we'll get them through. Mm-hmm. We just gotta poke them through. Mm-hmm. And it took a while, and we got them in. It was good. And she was like, "Thanks, Rach. I don't know what I would have done. It would have been sad if we couldn't get them in." And I was like, "Yeah, And then I almost say, literally what almost came out of my mouth, caught it, it was going to be now or when you're in your casket, Grandma. It had to happen at some point.
Rach. Would she be someone to find that funny, though? I feel like old people can kind of joke about that.
Maybe, but I told my mom because it was too funny for me not to say out loud to someone.
Yeah.
And her caregiver looked at me like I was a psychopath. But then I got home and my dad was home with my sister and I got to tell him and he loved it. He big LOL'd. So
he loved it.
You just got to know your audience.
You're just like your father, Rach.
I'm just like my father. No shame.
No shame in that.
Yes.
Okay. Topic today. Do you want to dive in? Are you ready?
Yeah, we can.
Do you feel? Okay.
I feel good.
Good. So today is the divorce. Don't know why I said it like that, but I'm keeping it. Q&A with Rach.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into some questions
that
you guys asked us or asked Rach.
Yeah, we've had we had a lot of submissions, so thank you for everyone that submitted.
Yeah, huge thanks.
Shout out to the person that disregarded the prompt and went straight for
the tea.
What happened with you and your high school sweetheart?
Who was this mystery person? Come forward.
That
I said, is it your ex? Was it him? Who was like, whatever happened with you with us?
Well, they actually asked what happened with you and Ryan. So I'm assuming it's my high school sweetheart, but my college boyfriend, my 8-month boyfriend in college, his name was Ryan too. I went back to back Ryans on it.
Oh,
so it could have been him too.
Back.
So whatever. That was not the prompt. So we will not be discussing that at this juncture. Maybe later.
Maybe later.
Maybe when I run out of divorce content.
Yeah. Well, we got plenty of it.
We'll dig deeper.
Oh, that's good. Okay. So I'm just going to fire off questions and then Rach is going to respond. Okay. First question. What day were you officially divorced? Do you have a divorce anniversary party? Or in your instance, will you? Because we haven't hit the year mark.
Yeah, we have.
We have?
Oh, yeah. January.
Oh, that's right. We did talk about that.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
I feel like it was like later.
I don't know.
That's on me. Okay.
So funny. I'm not like a sentimental person, so I don't remember. I think it was January 20 something. I know that it was supposed to be January 6th, but that didn't happen.
Well aware of that. That situation. That was so shitty.
We get to
poor Rach. Your heart was so set on like being done.
Yeah. Aww. Because Josh and I were getting an apartment. Yeah. And I just wanted it to be that fresh start. I wanted it to be clean. Like Rach is officially divorced. Now you're moving in with this other dude. But it didn't happen that way. But no, I haven't had a party.
Will we though? Will we?
I'm not a birthday person.
No,
I'm not a party person.
She's not sentimental in that way, and that stuff isn't important. Isn't important to you. It's like the stuff in between.
No,
it's like the random acts of.
No, but my mom had a divorce party. She'll never call it that. She will never call it a divorce party. Laura and I refer to it as a divorce party exclusively. Laura was.
Who is your sister?
Yeah, 18 or 19, and I was like 16. No, 14. Whatever that age difference is.
Whatever.
And Laura, that was a rough time. Just because the alcohol was a little bit free range, and we, not me, but it was just like it was just a shit show. And I mean, mom called it a thank you party or to all
Sherry's sweetheart would call it
to all of her friends that got her through that year.
That's a cool way to like shift it,
Yes.
So it's not like celebrating my divorce, it's celebrating the people who got me through this.
And I think it's good, like for her it was like to commemorate getting through a really hard time. And I guess I've just never put that much thought into it. And also then I have to remember it.
Then the trauma relives itself. It just cycles.
Yeah. So no, January 20 something, 2020. So we started off 2020 strong.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. But we got through it.
We did. I mean, no regrets.
No regrets. Okay, I'm embarrassed. Whatever. Okay. Next question. What did it feel like to you when you knew it was the end?
Deeper.
Getting in, sinking in.
It felt like nothing. I think when I knew that it was the end, I didn't have anything left. I didn't have any hope or any excitement or any sadness or any like it
no,
was
like
just
reprieve, no like lift off the shoulder either. That it was like,
well, like when I knew it was over.
Yeah.
Oh, or is it like when I knew my relationship was over, or
Let's
when the
do
divorce?
Both, because I feel like
I'm speaking more of like when I knew that I needed a divorce.
Yeah, let's go there. Start there. Yeah.
When I knew I needed a divorce, it was just like nothing. There was just nothing left. And what I think is a common theme with a lot of people that are getting divorced is rarely is it two-sided. It's always one person that's been tolerating a lot of bullshit for a long time. And then your partner finally realizes after all this time you've been serious about your unhappiness. And like in our case, it was like I was being forced to like help him process stuff, which I really resented because I'm like, I'm done. I've told you for a long time that I'm done. I've been telling you a long time I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. Like, you don't get to be surprised now. Mm-hmm. So like when I knew it was over was when it was like, I've just got nothing more to give to this. I got no more energy left for it. But how I felt when our divorce was finalized, I mean, I felt such relief. I was really, really excited to get my name back more than anything.
Yeah, that was really important to you.
I hated the fact that I changed my name. It was something even at the time, even like me being like deeply embedded into like the church and patriarchal culture, I still didn't really like it because I love my name. And I still love my name, and I was just really excited to have that back. I don't think a lot of people like one of my pieces of advice. I remember having an intentional conversation with you about this because like you like your maiden name, but you also like Joe's name, and I just remember being like, just think about it. Like spend more than just like the expected, like, oh yeah, we'll have the same name. Like ask yourself why you're changing it, why you want to change it. I mean, I do think what's nice is sometimes it's like a form of like rebirth, right? Like, but also change it for the right reasons. Like, I know for me, it's like, I'm not going to change it again. Maybe I'll hyphenate it, but that seems like a lot of work. But I think more than anything, it's like a reason to change it is if you want kids and you want everyone to have the same name, but like still know that like you have value in your identity, and like it's 2021.
Yeah, I feel like for me, it's like I like that rebirth in that too, and like having it consistent like with the family that I will have. And that's it for me. But I don't know if you have like a personal tie to your last name, like yours. Yeah. First off, sounds dope. You know, mine is dope. Like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't have any like ties to it really. I mean, besides my business name, which I'll keep. Yeah. But it's like, I'm okay with giving it up too.
Yeah. But even your business name is shorthand.
Yeah. It is shorthand.
Yeah.
Jess Cart.
Yeah.
Photography, shameless plug.
Yeah.
Follow me.
But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good answer. Okay, we're diving into this. Do you carry any anxiety, worry from your relationship with Dave into your new chapter and relationship? If so, how did you cope?
Okay. Sorry, can you ask that question again?
Sure can. I'll repeat. Okay. Do you carry any anxiety or worry from your relationship with Dave into your new chapter and relationship with Josh? If so, how do you cope?
Oh, yeah. That's so natural. My anxiety comes from I can't fuck this up again. My anxiety comes from this has to be the right choice, especially if I'm getting married again. Like I've talked about this a little bit before, but like with my life, my occupation, like it makes sense to get married again for like financial reasons and like health insurance and like, I don't know, tax breaks or whatever. I believe in marriage, probably.
She says. We'll get into that question later.
Yeah, we get it. Like, it's hard. It's complicated. Like, yeah. But the anxieties I have is like I really hold Josh to a high standard, which I know that like he kind of likes, but probably resents at times because I'm like, our communication has to be really good. All like every single like family interaction, I'm like on high alert to make sure like this is all good. Like it's real for me. Like I hold a lot of responsibility because like obviously you don't want to get divorced twice. Like no shame if you've been divorced twice. Marriage is weird and it doesn't have to be for everyone. And that's the thing. And I mean, I've talked about this before, like making sure that marriage is for me and making sure that that is something that I'm going to be good at, because I think the thing is like I'm good at relationships and I know that like I am a good partner and therefore would be like a good like wife. But I want to make sure that like my dynamic with my partner it is built to last this time. So I also like obviously like you just get triggered by something. Like if if I don't feel like I'm being properly supported, it can like bring me back. And like I think it's just like a matter of like if you're feeling a big feeling, backtracking and knowing why you're feeling that. If that makes sense, because
sure.
like if I'm just feeling overwhelmed and upset and I'm projecting that on Josh and not owning the fact that I'm like, you know what, I'm feeling this kind of way because I've been here before. Like it's not Josh's problem or his responsibility to deal with emotions that I haven't figured out yet.
Yeah.
That's why I have a therapist.
Yeah.
And
it's
I mean,
like
yeah.
Authoritative communication.
Yeah.
So it's just like really direct conversations too. It's like internalizing, realizing, and I'm feeling this way because, or I feel this way when.
Yes.
Something I'm working on too, but it's like that is really important in identifying yourself and then communicating that to your partner.
Yes.
Huge.
Yeah. And I would say like I'm a very direct person, which like took Josh like a while to get used to, but I think he
appreciates.
Hopefully likes it. We'll have him on the podcast one day.
We'll see what he really thinks.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll get it out of him.
See if he really likes that directness or he hates it and is annoyed by it.
I'll give him a couple tequila sunrises. Get the truth out of him.
Right. Okay, with that, we can kind of dive more into Josh because someone had another question about it. And it says, How do you deal with the trauma of the divorce with your current partner, Josh? For instance, do you ever break down in front of him, talk to him about it? Feel free to be openly emotional about the divorce, like that situation with Dave.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And that was something like from the get-go, like I wouldn't recommend like to anyone to like get into a relationship when your shit isn't figured out already, but it's just that's the way it happened for Josh and I. And so I wouldn't have dated him if he wasn't comfortable with how messy my life was inevitably going to be. Like I needed him to be okay with it. I needed to trust him and know that I was safe talking about it. And that's not to say that like he wasn't allowed to like set boundaries with me about it, but like, yeah, of course, like whoever you're with should be able to like hold space for your emotions if it's in like an appropriate and healthy way. And he was definitely a great support to me in that. And because really what like my sadness was over was just like shit that my ex was putting me through the divorce process. Like it that was kind of a lot of my like tears and like just wanting it to be over and having to prolong it for my ex's sake. But really in the grand scheme of things, our divorce was very quick. Mm-hmm. I know people whose divorces have been going on for years.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me. I couldn't imagine the amount of stress that would put on someone.
And yours was even prolonged with that January, in the beginning of January, being told that it can't go through and then having to wait. And I feel like those like 3 weeks or so I think it was 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Felt like a lifetime for you.
It did.
Yeah. So, but no, I feel like that kind of goes back to our episode of relationship advices or breakups. What to do after a breakup is like being open with your new partner about the messiness is what you've quoted of your life, like of what your situation could be. And I feel like from my personal experience with you, like you and Josh were always open about that. You were like, hey, she just got divorced. She's going to get wild. Are you with it or not? And Josh was like, hell yeah, girl.
Are you riding or not?
Are you riding? I'll quote that forever. Jerry Feeney. Shout out Jerry Feeney. Okay. Good. Big question. Do you regret anything?
The short answer is no. Right? It's like I lived the life that I lived. I learned lessons. I found my right person, you know, like I don't have any regrets. But I am sad for my past self that I didn't hold myself in a higher esteem earlier, that I didn't value my own opinion earlier, that I didn't trust myself sooner. Like I spent too many years of my life not giving a shit about what I thought about myself or like holding my my own opinions in high regard. I regret not loving myself sooner, for sure. And you know, there's nothing I can do to change that. I feel like I've learned a lot through that, and I can speak on like really not liking yourself and walking through life like that and how that sucked for me. Yeah. You know, like that wasn't anything that enriched my life. So yeah, I don't regret anything, but I am sad for past me who had to go through it for longer than she really needed to. But this bitch stubborn. You can't tell her. You can't tell her anything. Tell her.
Yeah. That was such a good answer, Rach, from like a personal friend standpoint. Thanks. I didn't think that it would go there, but I feel like I didn't know how you would answer that, truthfully. But right. Your answer was good.
Thanks.
Yeah, I felt it pulled on my heartstrings.
Oh, I love your heartstrings.
Okay, next question. What did it feel like? Oh no, psych. JK. Okay, given your backstory with your ex's family, do you believe that marrying into the family, that hazy double IPA really catching up, marrying into the family, do you feel like that is accurate? Was it accurate in your situation?
No. I think we all have that, like, you know, that saying, like, love makes a family. Right? Have you ever heard that?
No.
Oh. Maybe it's like more of like an adoption culture.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah. Okay.
But like, and I think in any situation, like you choose your family, right? Like you can choose your family, like with your friends, or like, I think, I wanted that more than anything. I wanted to feel like I had, another parent, another family. I really wanted that. I was excited for that part of marriage at that time, to like have another dad and have another, you know, like all of that. But like a relationship goes two ways. And I don't believe that I was a part of that family, like as a family, in the same way that I felt like he had the opportunity to be a part of mine. Because you have to be open, like with any relationship, like you have to open yourself up, you have to be vulnerable, you have to like, and like I was never free to like speak in my own opinion. It was always like a holding of my tongue, which, like, if you know me, it's very weird to see me in those situations where I know my opinion is not valid. And
as anyone in a situation like that, who would want to be put in a situation like that, let alone someone who is supposed to be your family? Right. That's probably really difficult.
Right. And so like I know a couple, I mean, you and a couple of my other friends like have great relationships with their in-laws. And I think it can be like you marry the family, but it's more like it's not so much like you marry the family. You are now tied to someone else's family's trauma. Like that is now a part of your life. So, whether or not like you consider your in-laws your family is up to your individual situation. But no matter what, you are always going to be tied to their life in some way.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
sometimes that's a good way for some who have good relationships, and then like bad for others. So if you don't get along with them.
Right. And I think it does suck when you don't get along with your in-laws. I think it's sad, and I want everyone to have that, you know? I think because like I grew up like being able to get really close with my friends' families.
Yeah.
And so it was like, it would be dope if I could
It'd
like
be easy, right?
marry my friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like be a part of this family forever.
Because you know what it's like to be in someone else's family with your close friends. Like that's such a good feeling, and you feel like that's how it should be with your in-laws. Right. And for some it is. It's super easy. Like Joe's family is just
right. But
perfect.
It's like we all know that we are all victims of our parents' own trauma. And so I feel like it is hard for a lot of parents, especially like, I mean, my only experience really with like toxic in-laws or whatever is like mom of boys, right? Like I was married to a man, so she was a mom of a boy. And it was just like this weird, like I felt like I was replacing her, which was not anything I wanted to do.
Not to mention like cultural difference. Yeah. And then also like spending time is important, right? And she lives in another freaking country, so it's like we have that distance between us as well as different. And what's weird is like as caged as I felt in that relationship, I was still like wild to them. Like, well, you're American, I guess. Woo, party on. Is that what people think of Americans? I don't know. I don't know what it was. I feel like they think we're wild, maybe. Yeah. American girls. Yeah, but you definitely are tied to another family. But it's up to you if you feel like they're, you know, a second set of parents, or like whether they want to even match that. Yeah. It's about what they want too. What you want and what they want, you know? Yeah, no? Yeah, I do. That's good. Okay. Do you keep in touch with him at all? No. For the listeners? No. Who might be thinking? No. Hard no. Except for the random drop off. Except for the immersion blender incident of 2021. No, there's been no contact. There hasn't been any contact for a year or more. I don't really remember. But, I mean, I can go deeper into that. I mean, my main question is like, if you're dealing with an ex or like following them on social media, what are they adding to your life? What joy are they giving you? My whole thing is like, there's a limited amount of energy that you have in like to spend throughout a day. And are you really going to spend it on someone that wasn't right for you? It's just interesting because most divorces end with children. Oh yeah. You don't have a choice. So that is the, you know, the standing ground on that. But oh yeah. But you guys had a business together. And once that was settled and separated, that you guys were good. Because I feel like that kept you guys in ties for a while. Yeah, yeah. And then that was done, which is... But yeah, no, we don't keep in touch. Why do you think he still stayed living so close to you? Don't roll your eyes. These are raw feelings, right? Okay. Yeah. So nice, patient, kind Rachel says that he's really close to getting a citizenship. Ooh, okay. Okay, so he wants to get that, which is, you know, no blame. Like, we have spent close to $15,000 for his, like, process so far. So, yeah, I think he might be 2 years away or something at this point. I don't know. So I think part of it's that, and like, obviously like he has some friends around here, a semblance of a life. Me on my bad days, the days where I'm really annoyed, I feel like he must know that I'm on high alert at all times, which like is shitty and is something like I never wanted to bring bad feelings towards my ex into the podcast. Like I started the podcast very much feeling like I was at peace with where we were, but then like I'm in therapy, so like a lot of shit's been brought to light lately where I'm like, yeah, maybe more shit was underneath than I thought. Mm-hmm. But I know that like every time I go to the grocery store, I'm looking for his car. I'm making sure it's not there. But when I park, I'm like, and I hope that he's not finding any joy in knowing that that's how I'd be. But if he prioritized my well-being,
he wouldn't be here. But it's not his job to prioritize my well-being anymore. We are not together. Yeah. So he
just
gets to.
You don't do his.
Right. Exactly. Well, like I don't do his. Ask Catherine about that one.
Ooh.
Because I still struggle.
Take it up with Kathy.
Yeah, my
girl.
Do we
call her Kathy?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll stop that immediately.
Well, she's like she's in her 20s. I would imagine. It's not a name you call.
Probably don't want to call her Kathy.
I bet she'd go by Katie, but I don't know.
Oh. Is Katie short for Catherine?
Yeah.
Having a brain fart. Didn't sound right.
Oh, Caitlin and Catherine both.
Oh,
go by Katie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if. Also, she could go by Cat. She's got big cat energy.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I was like, there's another
big
nickname.
cat energy.
Big cat energy.
Yeah,
I love it. Okay, here's a good question. How did the legal proceedings go? It's a broad question.
It is a broad question, but I think if you are going through a divorce, maybe you'll find some joy in this or whatever.
Cliff notes it for us.
I wanted to get a dissolution, which is like an amicable divorce, but he decided to leave the country, and he booked his flight without like running it by me. He in his mind was like, we can put this off, like we can do it when I get back. And I was like, I want it done before you leave. So I ended up getting a lawyer who explained that if we get a divorce, he doesn't have to be there. I just have to have like a witness in his place. Jess,
that was me.
Can I have a witness? She would dare.
And I would dare.
Yeah. So we got a divorce. He had to sign all the paperwork he needed to sign before he left. And so like shout out to my divorce lawyer. She worked really quick to make sure it happened in our timeline. So we just had one lawyer. He didn't like have a lawyer. We didn't have a house. We didn't have children. We didn't have pets. We didn't have anything complicated.
Besides a business.
Besides the business, but I was fine with the fact that like he kept his shit. As long as I got to keep mine, and that's its own story. But other than that, it was not. It was an easy breezy divorce. Other than the emotional strain. And then we got our court date, which was supposed to be January 6th, and it was some bullshit like kind of like a clerical error, like he didn't sign something, or like it was wording. It was
I remember it being super technical.
And
the lawyer was like almost like,
this is so stupid that
the judge will surpass it.
Yeah.
And the judge was like, no, we need this.
No, we need this. It was like about a bank account. The wording wasn't 50-50 split. It was like just split. Like
she's like, at what
ratio?
At what ratio? Splitting this.
And the real annoying part of it was we had already closed that bank account. We weren't supposed to, but we did because we wanted the money, and we just like, you know, we already did the 50-50 split.
Yeah.
And so it was like a bank account that didn't even exist anymore. It was so annoying. But let this be a lesson to you all. Get a lawyer. Just get a lawyer. I don't know how we do anything without lawyers.
Shout out Joe.
But yeah.
That's what I said to him. I said, fighting the good fight you are.
Yeah.
Yesterday, like, I was like, you really fighting a good fight out there, Joe.
He really was. Is to this day.
So, moral of the story, lawyer up, motherfucker.
Truly.
Ooh, I like this question. How was navigating a divorce while being a wedding vendor?
I think I've talked about this before, maybe. I think at the time it really helped me realize that I didn't have the relationship dynamic that I really wanted. Like, I remember seeing couples and being like, those guys have it. Like, they've got it. And we definitely don't. And, you know, the it was mutual respect. They laughed together. They had a lot of things to fight for. And I remember being like, yeah, this ain't it. You know? So I think weirdly, like, in the summer that like we were getting divorced, every weekend I had a reminder, like, this is what you want, this is what you aspire for, that like this is why you're going through this, like you want a relationship like this. And that's not meant to like idolize someone else's relationship. Like everyone has their own unique struggles, but I just knew like it wasn't, it wasn't right. And now it's like, I definitely felt at first, like, obviously it feels like a little bit embarrassing. I am an oversharer by nature. So like, I would be like, oh yeah, I did that at my wedding. They're like, oh, you're married? I'm like, no.
Once was, not anymore.
Once was, not anymore. But now weirdly, like, I can bond with people about it, like people that have been married before or were engaged before. And I think they realize, like, one of my favorite interactions that I had with a couple lately, like it was just virtual, and I appreciate oversharing, and the girl's inquiry was just awesome. Loved it. And she's like, been divorced, like not planning on doing it again, like she was just like so open. And I just like threw my like template out the window, my like inquiry response template, and I was just like, hey,
speaking from the heart,
girl, like fellow divorcee over here, like so happy that you found your person, like we have so much to talk about, like it was really good. And I think with whatever like your life story is, like if you get to like own your story, your trauma, whatever it is, and like turn that into like a positive or a way that you can like create a deeper relationship with someone, like that's awesome. And I think at first I was definitely hesitant to talk about it, but now like I will bring it up if it's appropriate.
Yeah, because like you said, bring it up if it's appropriate. Like, these people are getting married, so you're not about to be like, divorce life? Yeah. Which you'll talk about, absolutely. But it's like, it's hard to bring up, like, it's
not like, divorce isn't relevant to weddings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if we're talking weddings, which you're like an expert at, like that's, I feel like, what you connect on more. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, any event, and like, I love weddings. I do.
She truly does.
I do. It's freakish. They're just crazy. They're just like,
it's a wild day.
They're beautiful shit shows, and I can't get enough of them.
That's the best way to put it. A beautiful shit show. It is, though.
It is.
It's a wild ride all day. Question: would you recommend dating someone who's newly divorced?
Contrary to what Josh has been through, I would probably not recommend it. Obviously there's like a lot of factors, and I think it depends what you mean about dating. Like, if you met someone on Tinder or Bumble and you're just like kind of casually seeing someone, getting drinks with them, like having fun, making out in the backseat of your car, like whatever, like cool. But I think it is, I think Josh would own that it was a little bit emotionally strenuous to like plan a life with someone whose chapter wasn't finished completely. Mm-hmm. I think he would say that. Like, there was a fight that we got in because I was like all in, right? I was like, I love you, and like, this is it for me. Like I was just like all in. And he said to me, he was like, I can't do that. Like, he couldn't let himself get there, which was a beautiful boundary that he set. And as much as it like hurt me, because I felt like we were on the same page, he owned the fact that like, I can't be all in until your divorce is finalized. And and it goes beyond your divorce being finalized. Like, I was the person that was done with the marriage first, so I had done a lot of that like processing, right? But like, you don't want to like get in a relationship with someone who doesn't have a strong sense of independence or like of themselves yet. Like, you want to make sure you're not with someone because they can't imagine life without another person. And I think another thing to be considerate about is if like your person that you're seeing has children. Like, please do not expect a tiny human to understand like that dynamic right away. I've seen a lot of just like people in my life, like throughout time, you know, like just throw a new marriage or a new relationship on a kid and just be like, catch up. And it's like, they are really struggling probably with the fact that like
still fragile creatures just trying to figure it out.
Right. And so like be considerate, like, and I think it's just, if you can communicate with that person and if you truly know that they're in the right place for it, but I'll say this once, I'll say it again. If you're with someone and they refer to their ex as their bitch ex-wife, get the fuck out, okay? You gotta have respect for people on a basic human level. And I just have no tolerance for men that call women derogatory terms in general. Like, even if your ex cheated on you, even if, like, whatever, like, you gotta have a semblance of dignity and respect for another person. And just make sure that they're emotionally mature enough, I guess.
Truly.
To be in a new relationship. Because if you hold animosity towards someone, you're probably not over certain things. Gotta work on it.
Yeah. That goes back to our breakup episode too.
Yeah.
We were like, if you feel like you're over, like you're excited about dating someone else. And like we talked about what that feels like.
Right.
And you don't hold that animosity towards your ex, like that's when you're ready. But if you're still shit talking an ex on a date, you ain't ready.
You ain't ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. Because it's like you have to process those feelings and let them go to be ready to open that with someone new.
Right.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Last question.
Question. Yep. What helped you heal most?
This took me like a while to think about. But I think what ultimately healed me was regaining my sense of self-worth and love for myself. Like, when I knew that in the end, like, I was choosing myself. Like, I was choosing my future, my life, my love for myself over anything else. That was when I was like, you have permission to heal. You have permission to get through it. You have permission to be the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. And I was excited for that. And it was just like, when I knew that I had the power to choose myself, you know, like that was a real like aha moment.
Yeah.
Where like I knew that like no matter what shit I get in down the road, if I know that I can choose myself, I got it.
Good. Ooh, feeling that.
Yeah, and on that self-love train, I was interviewed on Ladies and Tangents last week.
Plug it in.
I'll plug it in. It's an episode I am genuinely proud of, talking about like self-love and body image and going into like my history with like eating disorders and exercise issues and all of that. But yeah, being able to choose yourself was a very freeing experience, especially because it was like the first time I had done it after years of just like self-hatred.
Yeah. And not knowing yourself is what you talked about too.
Yeah.
In that question we asked previously.
Yeah.
Good, Rach.
Thanks, Jessica.
What a wonderful answer. I just want to thank you. Thank you for your honesty.
Yeah.
Thank you for being your fullest, true, most authentic self.
We hope.
And bringing it to this podcast for the people who asked.